mentor us through this, because I mean it's going to be our first Premier event, so there's a lot at stake, I feel, but I think it's going to be I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I was actually thinking. I think it was yesterday. Like I was just realizing, like we're actually heading to Shanghai. We're gonna like do this huge Premier event. So it's kind of half panic and half just. Like ecstatic or even like. I guess euphoria almost. Like it's just such a great feeling, you know. Tipping my hat, my fedora bit here. No, but like seriously, it's going to be absolutely amazing. If you guys haven't heard too much, like it's going to be the WCS Shanghai coming up, and it has some really cool stuff going on. So like the first 2 days are gonna be just your regular WCS Shanghai. The last day is gonna be foreigners versus Koreans, and I'm not sure which one I'm more excited about. Who's going to get the trophy, or who's like how it's going to go with those incredible best of one matches.
Yeah, the All-Star series. But we have loaded into the map, guys, so we're going to go ahead and introduce our players. We had Harstem there as our first, spawning into the bottom left.
And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner, playing for Team Braveheart Academy. It is the Red Terran Coffee. And Coffee, man, looked pretty good in that first series. Showcased a unique style, lots of Widow Mine drops. That was like really cool. Pulled Petit Drogo apart, but wasn't able to quite close it out in that ace match of his first series. We're gonna see if he can do better against Harstem, who didn't look great, if we're being perfectly honest, against Yasunu.
Yeah, I didn't have time to watch the series actually, or rather, I joined you a bit late here, but I did hear Harstem got completely destroyed by Yasunu with some kind of cheesy all-English games.
Yeah, like he played like super aggressive 1.5 base economy things. Like did go for a Roach Ravager Speedling all in on Ulrena, the very first map they played in the series, and I mean that really just set the tone for everything. But here again, Harstem is gonna start doing some damage onto that depot again. Like Coffee once more, sort of playing it close. But hopefully he's going to be feeling a little more confident coming into this series now. Because, I mean, he's already had what I would consider his toughest opponent already.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Harstem, it does look like he got no real scouting information, but Coffee's not doing anything crazy this series. And that's like almost, when you're a guy like Coffee, I think the craziest thing you can do is not do anything crazy, right?
Yeah, I wonder how he came up with his name. By the way, Coffee. I mean, it feels like he was at like an event or something with like incredible jet lag, and someone's like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "Coffee." Coffee. It's like, "Oh, Coffee, okay."
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of the times, the Chinese players, the Korean players, like they'll have a Chinese or Korean name, right? And then they'll go to an event that is like not just exclusively regional. And they're like, "Oh, you have to choose an English name," and like, whatever beverage is in their hand is just what their name becomes.
Like Nesty.
I think that's how Nesty got his name. His old name was Zergbong, and it wasn't allowed in StarCraft 2 because it had the word bong in it.
Yeah.
And there was like a thing of tea on his desk. So that is the story of Nesty.
Have you heard about the theory of how Koreans pick their StarCraft 2 names? Like a dictionary, just throw a dot on a random page.
Oh, I like the Bohemian Rhapsody one. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Like pretty much every word in there is a Code S player.
Oh yeah, you just pick a noun from a random from Bohemian Rhapsody basically.
Reality. Oh yeah. God, how many are there?
I guess Squirtle's not going to be there.
I don't know. I think Squirtle. He's in like the third verse of Bohemian Rhapsody. Did Lucas?
Oh, yeah.
Did Lucas go away?
No, man. I'm here.
Okay. You're just sitting here quietly in the corner.
Yeah, I did. Just
waiting for your time to speak. It's not your time yet.
Doing my thing, I'm just like keeping an eye on the game because I'm just waiting for Coffee to do something super weird, right? But just hasn't done anything. It's just gonna be playing it fairly straightforward. At least for now. I'm saying at least for now because you never know. Like when he's gonna transition and we'll see that fusion core go down, and then he gets Banshee speed.
To say with all these Chinese players, it's a really clever thing to always say "for now" because there's never going to be a permanent straight up game.
Yeah, that's like the key word, that you sort of have to leave it open because anything can really happen in these sort of series when you have someone like this. I mean, and especially if you consider the fact that Coffee, this is his first Premier event, and I mean, nerves are definitely going to be a factor to take into consideration. And when you're playing under a lot of pressure, I mean, I can definitely see a player making the decision of like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to go for something super crazy and hope it works. Like, every single decision is going to be like a Hail Mary one.
Yeah, absolutely. Coffee really delaying that third base, it looks like. Whereas Harstem, rather, going for it quite quickly. And now this Observer's going to come in and get a great scout as Coffee continues to just kind of macro up on that 3 orbital on 2 bases type build.
So most people here probably don't know about Coffee. He has played like one online cup. I think it was one of those base trade TV cups or something for like $10 he won in total. So like he's been kind of an unknown player, but according to our like inside intel here about the Chinese scene, you know, he's kind of the biggest Terran right now in the Chinese scene, kind of replacing XY after he stopped playing, you know, as much as he did before. So it's going to be interesting to see if Coffee really can live up to the name of XY, or if he's going to become the Hunter that we saw earlier. And Hunter, of course, was a player who kind of came up then and just disappeared in the next season.
Yeah, I think Coffee's shown us just really great multitasking, powerful drop play. Coming up as a Chinese Terran, all you really have is XY to look up to, you know? So I think coming up as a Chinese Terran takes guts, and it says a lot that he's made it as far as he has.
Yeah, I mean, that's in general, you don't really have many Terrans on the Chinese ladder overall, so they're really one of a kind. So I mean, there's a lot of pressure on him, not only because this is his first Premier event, but just in general because, you know, you want to be representing one of the 3 races here at this level of play. And I mean, consider his age and stuff like that.
Yeah, how old is Coffee again?
17, I believe.
Oh man, so young, so
yes.
skilled, and a lot of room to grow.
Oh, and look at that star sense from Coffee. Finding that War Prism right away, that's going to help so much against Harstem's planned harassment here with those adepts.
Yeah, and
that's a really important pickup here, because I mean, it's going to snag initiative right out of the hands of Harstem here. I guess are we going to be switching streams here for a second, because it seems that Doyu.
Yeah, has a
really
guys. Shrink, shout out to Shrink, cool guy. Just gave me a link to a non-Douyu stream that he said works better for non-Chinese people, and it's in that Skype group one with him. If you want to go and pull that up, I'm going to do that right away, and see if we can't get that going.
Yeah, I'm going to be booting that now, and hopefully we're going to be swinging back in here.
It took longer to load, but it looked fantastic.
Oh, that looks so good. That's full HD, man.
Yeah, so hopefully this stream holds up, because this looks absolutely incredible. And
what's your in-game time, Joe? I just need to know.
In-game time for me is 7:40.
That's perfect.
Alright, guys, so here we are. The stream quality looks incredible. Thanks again, Shrink. Your knowledge of the Chinese scene once again proving terrific as Coffee starts to step out on the map with this bio.
Yeah, there we go. Oh man, this is so nice. It's like cleaning my glasses after 2 weeks of not cleaning them. So, Storm on the way, +2, attack and armor being researched here for Harstem. He's just setting everything up in terms of infrastructure, but I wanted to come back to that with the fact that the War Prism was found initially there. That's a pretty big thing, because it swings initiative back into the hands of Coffee, but War Prism again going to get taken out in the main base, but at the same time, Hans Coffee is looking for that engagement. Good force fields going down if Harstem. Nice storms as well to blanket those units, as well as force Coffee out of position then. I mean, he's taking more damage in the main base right now from these adepts.
Yeah, and the Adepts now getting on top of all of these SCVs. A lot of damage continuing to go down because he can't seem to clean it up. Coffee trying to split his units as best he can, but these Adepts are still alive, continuing to pound out damage on the SCVs. He'll finally clean this up. Liberators were idling above that the whole time. I think Coffee might be falling apart just a little bit here.
We're looking at the supply, though. They're fairly even. Sorry, Alex, go on.
No, it's fine. I don't need to talk. You guys got this. No, it's fine. Tricasting does have its difficulties. We're going to see Coffee getting these Liberators. I just love that kind of style, although we might see tons of Blinkstalkers. We've seen this work so many times for Terrans if you set them up properly in a kind of like where you zone each other, like we have Liberators covering other Liberators. It's just so difficult, even with mass Blinkstalker, to actually get them without having those Tempests.
It's key to engage when engaging that sort of army. You really have to find the flank, or start chipping away at the Terran in order to force them to unsiege. Because I mean, otherwise it's just virtually impossible to engage into when you're using a ground-based army like that. And again, one of the issues... Whoa, actually catching these high temper out of position. Very big pick-off here for Coffee. Losing a handful of bio for it, that's a trade you'll take any day. So very important find there for our Terran, who's right now going to be contained here on these 3 bases.
Yeah, but now Harstem going to be stepping out again, going to look for some damage, but the Liberators are offering at least a solid defensive position. And I think it's going to maybe be up to some drop play, some air play to get out of that base and put damage on. But looking like Harstem going for some drops of his own, or Observer catching this Warp Prism, which is going to be going into perhaps the 3rd or natural base, going to bypass that well-defended 3rd completely, get right into the natural. Coffee is starting to add on Ghosts, but will it be enough? Ooh, huge Mind Shot. Doesn't even have to go up.
Well, he's going to drop the drop itself and clean it up eventually. Adept still hurt, but don't take too much damage. He's going to be quite fine. I just like Harstem taking up, I don't want to say rapidly, like he wasn't like, this is of course not the quickest Tempest we've ever seen, but it's still a very nice transition that he's going to make sure he's on 4 bases. He tries to do other things first, but when he realizes that he has to get the Tempest, he goes straight into them. We see the double Stargate, we see the Fleet Beacon, we're going to see Tempest soon, and that's going to trigger Coffee to go right away.
Yeah, I mean, the longer this game goes on, and especially considering that Coffee has no 4th command center, he's just going to be finding himself in a tougher and tougher position eventually. So he has to make something happen, and it has to be now. Because I mean, looking at the production tab, there's only units, no 4th CC in sight.
Ooh. Wow, what EMPs? That entire army is without shields now.
Yeah, and this could be a huge moment, but it looks like he's going to load everything into Medivacs and boost away. Why is he doing this right now as these Blink Stalkers start to chase down? I think Coffee was maybe going to go for some aggression. Wasn't expecting Harstem to step back in after those EMPs did go down, but now Coffee feeling stable. Once again, he unloads his Medivacs. He's moving out. He's looking for damage on those Stalkers. If Harstem is being aggressive and posturing, Coffee is going to want to punish it, and Harstem sees that Coffee's trying to punish, and he backs off for the moment.
That's a very nice snipes, by the way, again, on these High Templar that play a key role in this army for Harstem, because, I mean, that's pretty much all of his splash damage here. That gets taken out. I mean, there's not really going to be a lot of backbone to this army. He's got the Immortals, sure, but they're not going to be doing all too much versus this number of Marauders and Ghosts. Look at how heavy he's playing with that composition. Like, the Marauders to clean up all of these Stalkers, and then the Ghosts, of course, dealing extra damage versus Light to just shred all of those Adepts. So, like, if the EMPs are going to be good here yet again, and he can deny those Storms, Coffee's going to be in a great spot, but here we go. No, he's not really setting up. There we go, another massive blanket of EMPs hitting all of those units.
A beautiful attack here from Coffee, getting those EMPs right away, but we have to remember, this is a lot of Tempest. We don't have too much time for Coffee before he needs to either fall back or just start killing stuff. He's going to try to stem underneath these Tempests. Another good Storm comes down, but another EMP will hit at least 3 of those High Templars. I just like this from Coffee, but I don't think he can break through yet.
No. It's going to look really tough, man. Another good Storm on the left-hand side. Joe, take over here, buddy.
But here we go, pushing up this ramp is Coffee. Liberator zones do go down. The Tempest a bit vulnerable, kiting back with the bio. The EMPs from the Ghosts are available, but he's going to choose to back off once again, consolidating his forces. The Tempest shots go down on top of these Liberators once again. Big blink coming out from Harstem. He's going to chase down this army. Needs to be careful not to overextend here, does Harstem. But Coffee doing so poorly here as Harstem continues to chase. This is a really scary moment for our Terran. The bio is under a lot of threat here, and Harstem continuing to get on top of absolutely all of it. Coffee feeling he can take this engagement. This is his moment. Liberator Siege Zone do go down. Storm getting on top of all of these units, but Coffee's army is shrinking, and Harstem continues to press across the map in ever more threatening positions. This is very, very scary to be our Chinese Terran right now, and the huge concave from Stalkers doing so much damage. He's fighting bio straight up with Stalkers, and that is never a good sign when you're a Terran player.
Definitely, and now we see Coffee just boosting away. He's going to have a Liberator home. One of the Minimax actually goes down as well. Quite a few of these Ghosts, remember, they are very expensive. And right now, of course, we have to remember, Coffee's been mining on 3 bases for 14 minutes now with Mules. I would be surprised if he has more than like 4 mineral patches in his 3rd base. Like, he has virtually no mining going on right now. And Harstem, well, he's on 5 bases. We never saw Coffee getting that 5th base. And, I mean, Harstem can afford losing a few of these Tempests right now.
Yeah, but
I mean,
Alex...
any trade, you know, that Harstem is taking, always going to be favoring him. I guess Coffee could flow to Command Center over to any of those mining locations, but he's just under so much pressure in Harstem. He's soon going to be at that max again, and that's when he's going to be moving out for perhaps that final assault.
Yeah, but he is going to be floating, and that keeps him in the game a little bit longer. Obviously, those orbitals quite vulnerable to attack, unlike the planetary fortress you would typically see at a 4th base. Coffee just adding on more and more ghosts. He's going for Cloak, which to me feels like a bit of a desperation move here. Cloak, not generally that useful against Protoss because they generally have observers with their army, but Harstem may have neglected this a bit as we start moving up. And if he can hit some kind of timing where the army's caught out of position and there's a lot of Cloak ghosts underneath him, that could be scary. But now Coffee's starting to add on that bio bulk once again. Catching a Stalker out of position is nice here, but he's going to need to catch a hell of a lot more than that to make things happen. Getting his air army tagged is really unfortunate for Coffee. It makes the Tempest so much more powerful in zoning. Obviously, their attack range much further than their actual vision, so those Oracles provide a key defensive role in tagging him like that. GG is called. Coffee knows there's nothing he can do, and Harstem takes the first map.
Shaking his head though, he doesn't seem. It seems like he wasn't too happy with his own play, and I have to admit though, like there were misplays from both sides here. Like Harstem got all his Templars EMP'd on several occasions. We saw him try to take a fight against a minuscule Terran army and losing several Archons right away. I mean, Harstem played really well, but I think he agrees with that was not him on his A game.
I feel I might have a bit of a different opinion on that, Matt. I mean, like, there were some engagements there that looked very shaky from both sides. So in the end, it just feels to me as if it turned out into a bit of a scrappy. What's the word here? It was a bit like
a fist fight.
Yeah, exactly. It was like it turned into a very scrappy brawl between the two.
Look at that picture of Harstem, by the way. That looks beautiful.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, is he not wearing a shirt there for a second?
It's like a nude-colored leotard.
a tan colored shirt there. But I'm just thinking, like, it was a very scrappy brawl, and the game from both players didn't really feel that clean, and it was a bit closer than it could have been, especially in the positions that Harstem was, like, you know, considering the fact that he had the 4th base up and running and stuff like that. But nonetheless, he gets the map, which at the end of the day is all that matters. So hopefully he's going to be able to ride this now into another victory. But then again, I mean, Coffee, he showcased already versus Petit Drogo that he is not hesitant to play some crazy styles.
Not at all, man. And we're still waiting to get into that second map. I'm not sure if we caught the actual map order of this series, but
I think next one was Orbital.
I mean,
if
Coffee has any moves left, any aces up his sleeve, now is the only time left to bust them out. If he falls here, that's it.
I think he actually learned. Actually, we're going to have the introductions first. I'm going to go into that. So we have our first player here in the bottom left-hand side. It's the blue Protoss. It is Harstem. And my timing was off. Darn.
And his opponent in the top right-hand corner, playing for Team Bravehearts Academies, we have Coffee.
There we go. Better timing, Joe. You are much better than me at this.
I mean, can he make it back, guys? That's the question. I'm asking you now, like, flat on the table. What, like, coming into this game, who's going to take this series?
So I think
2-1 Harstem. That's my prediction.
So
2-1 from Joe.
Onto something because I'm gonna say 2-0 Harstem, but Coffee in the last game you saw him getting Cloak. What he needs to do, he has to realize there's only one way to win that game, and that's to get Cloak. You get Nuke, and you go full Jinra versus Choya, and that's the only way you're going to win.
But going Jinra versus Choya relies on the Protoss making a big mistake.
Yes.
So I mean, it's very unstable. But maybe, like, okay, to be honest, Chinese Terran, we see nukes, I wouldn't be that surprised.
Oh no, not even a little bit. I mean, Chinese players have shown us time and again they're willing to bust out whatever it takes to win. And I think if you're Coffee in this situation, you're looking at this game, you've got to have something up your sleeve, right? Like, you just played Harstem in a macro game, and it felt like you lost in every sense of the word. But Coffee's tricky, man. He's got cool stuff.
Yeah, but for now, looks as if he's just going to go, you know, fairly standard. Going to get that reap opening, going to command center from here. Man, Alex, I'm so sad that you actually missed that Widowmine game versus Petit Drogo, because that was, like, absolutely crazy.
Yeah. The thing is,
maybe we'll see him busted out, you know, in this best of 3, though.
And also sad because I thought, like, I must have misunderstood, like, the time it began, because I thought Joe was going to do, like, this very early morning, like 4 a.m. or something, 5 a.m. So I was like, oh, you know, it's already over. I just messaged him and he's like, yeah, we're casting right now. I'm like, oh my god, I need to get here.
Yeah, I was actually going to cast with someone else, and it looks like it didn't end up working out, so it was, like, great that Lucas just happened to be online in a Skype call, and I was like, hey, buddy, you want to cast the tournament you're about to go cast? And he was like, well, yeah, I'm gonna go cast it, so why wouldn't I cast it? So let's cast it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, why not cast the cast, right?
Cast the cast.
That's basically what happened. But now the Reaper coming in here for Coffee, being a little annoying behind this just standard Chinese infrastructure from Coffee, because he's getting that factory, and then from there we'll see how things go. Harstem on the other side, going for that Robo, so nothing weird yet.
Yeah, something I want to say just about, by the way, with these Reaper openings. Now that I'm officially better than Lucas online, I decided to start practicing a bit more Protoss. And it's so difficult dealing with that first Reaper as a new Protoss. Like, your Adept does so much damage to it, but like those few seconds before the Adept comes out, like those are some scary moments.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't actually kill the Reaper, it will just back away, regenerate, and live forever. Coffee showcasing that as he starts to mass up some more bio, perhaps going to be pushing across the map. This Mothership Core is in position, going to be raining down fire on top of all of this. And once again, Harstem shooing away that Reaper, no scouting information gained. Coffee doesn't want to sack it. He really wants that extra DPS for whatever he's going to do next, man.
I'm sorry, Lucas.
Like, if that ever comes into play, the Reaper damage, I'm just gonna jump off a bridge or something, because like it shouldn't matter at this point. I mean, I guess it's nice as a scouting tool, and well, he's gonna come in there, and if he can see this Twilight, that would be very nice. But no, he's just hesitating way too much here, so not gonna find any information. But Blink has started here for Harstem. That's a really late Nexus. Oh, never mind. That was a thought. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Yeah, I was like, "No, that's a pretty early one."
Yeah,
Lucas,
yeah.
like 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, I was miles away there, man. But yeah, so some light blink pressure going to come out here from Harstem as he takes that third base. Stim started here for Coffee, and well, going to be a Marine Widowmine drop here to open things up.
Yeah, and I mean, Coffee's shown us with drops he can make absolutely things happen, but Harstem was watching those games, and look, he's getting Blink very quickly. That's going to allow him to slow down and shut down any kind of drop play. He's got Stalkers in position for what are typically thought of as the vulnerable spots here in his gameplay, and he's just set up to receive this much better than Petit Drogo was when Coffee went for this drop style.
Yeah, but I mean, bear in mind that, like we said earlier, that he's probably watched those games, so that's definitely something to take into consideration. But here we go. Drop is actually going to dodge the natural and instead come into the main base, but of course Pylon's in position, so Photon Overcharge. Going to be very dangerous here, but well, no damage done just yet.
Oh, and this Mothership Core is now very damaged. If a Marine can get underneath it, it could absolutely snipe it. Gonna back out here, doesn't want to lose any Marines, but oh man, if nothing else, that was a decent bit of denied mining time.
I mean, but that's about it, man. Like, that, it doesn't get any better than that. I don't think it's really what Coffee was, out there to looking out to do. So, I mean, he hasn't really slowed down Harstem because he's got that third base up and running very comfortably, and Stim isn't up for at least a little while more. So, he's not going to be able to really contest this.
No, he's not. And now it looks like Harstem is going to be very comfortably in his own third base, as Coffee's just kind of adding on medevacs, adding on bio, powering up like he's going to go for a push. But Harstem has a lot of stuff, man.
And I mean, at this point, like Coffee, as Luke was saying before, like he was actually looking to deal quite a bit of damage, because otherwise, instead of that drop, he could have gone for push, for instance, towards third base. There are many things he could have done, and this one thing actually failed. So we have the second drop now coming up with towards the natural base. We have Blinkstalkers, we have Mothership Core with Pylons in good positions. You're not going to be able to do much as Coffee here.
No, I mean, it's all going to come down to this mid-game push, guys. Like, if he can't do game-ending damage now, if Harstem comfortably holds, that should be it coming into the mid-game, because I mean,
Coffee... this Widowmine in a great position. Lucas, hold that... Oh, so good by Harstem peeling off a single Widowmine. But now he's going to try to put some damage on one of the Stalkers in the back, trying to deny the drop. This Bio Army can actually do a lot of damage on this, but now the Reinforcement Stalkers come down from the natural. Coffee dropping in the natural at the same time. Looks like it got cleaned up by a single Photon Overcharge, and Harstem just in a commanding presence in this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if what Harstem decides to really do as a follow-up attack, because eventually he will have to win the game, of course. Now, I think, with the glaives coming out here, and he's not taking too much damage, he can definitely go for a bigger push, but hold that thought, we're gonna see these Widowmines come in once again.
Not getting all too much done there, only 2. But drop coming in towards a natural 2 Widow Mines here in this medevac. Harstem waking up, they're very quick on the reaction, so he's not going to lose all too many workers. And again, now, Coffee has changed his angle of attack. He's going to hit from behind the third base, but there's a ton of units here for Harstem in position.
Yeah, but now it looks like this bio going to be stepping up, trying to pick off a Stalker R2. They do blink back. Coffee looking for the engagement once again. Widowmines try to get the lock on top of this. Scan goes down so we can move upside this ramp. Let's see if we can get any damage done here. Coffee just poking, not willing to commit too far into this just yet. He still has reinforcements streaming across the map. He's trying to be in a lot of places at once, and now he's trying to consolidate his army into one very powerful pushing. Let's see if Coffee's going to continue to try to engage head-on at the front with Harstem, or if he'll split up his army and continue his drop-heavy play like earlier.
So Coffee's got a third base now, finally rather, but the problem here is that he's so far behind at this point that he really needs that one key engagement. We see this very nice kind of, not doom drop, but like really heavy drop play from Coffee, which can work, and Harstem's not really ready for this. He has one Mother Core in position though, and here comes the photon overcharges.
Oh man, there's so many pylons though, all of 4 of them, all of those overcharges spent, and a lot of these medvacs actually going to get taken out. Pylons eventually get cleaned up, but now the rest of the army has had time to get into position, and Coffee wasn't really using this momentum that he gained to push up into the third base just until now, so it's going to be a little late, but might be able to hold some damage potential right now with this attack because he takes down the Immortal. He's going to dodge that Widow Mine shot. No, never mind actually. Takes a pretty significant hit, and well, even though they end up trading in terms of army, look at that, Coffee plummeting his supply down to only 100.
Yeah, this is very, very hard for our Chinese Terran, who's continuing to try to make things happen on the map. Oh, Harstem actually walking into these Widow Mines. That was a big shot, and another one's going to go off. He lost a lot of units. What was a very bad engagement for Coffee, those Widow Mines hit made it a bad question mark engagement.
Yeah, Harstem. The thing is, Coffee is constantly trying to trade, and as Luke is saying, with the Coffee just dropping his supply, he's kind of trying what he's doing a weak version of what XY kept doing, you know, just drop, drop, drop. He isn't really just dropping all the time, but this is the kind of style he's looking to do, basically, at this point. But Harstem's got to the point where he can kind of kill Coffee at any given moment, and the only reason he's not pushing across the map is because of these drops going on.
Yeah, but Petit Drogo got into this position earlier, and Coffee was able to really stress the multitasking of the European Protoss, and it looks like he might be trying to make this happen again, putting the pressure on top. Losing a medevac to those Blink Stalkers is absolutely huge. Let's see if he can get the cancel down on this base. That would be a big pickup for Coffee, who's desperately needing moves like this to get back into the game. But Harstem able to defend his 4th base, and that's going to be really nice for our Protoss player here. Getting that probe and cleaning up the pylon behind him is nice, but he needs bigger moves than that to try to get back into this game, does Coffee.
Tried to commit in there with that drop, but again has to just back off because Harstem has everything locked down super tightly, and there's just no opportunity really here for Coffee to do any damage. And now slowly he's regaining some of that supply that he lost earlier, but I mean he's up to 141 to the 174 here of Harstem, who's he's actually going to be pushing the issue here. He's going to be committing in here with these shades, and so much damage in this Protoss army. Not going to give him chase just yet. There we go. Now he's going to go in. These Widow Mines are going to be playing a key role here, not getting the best hits though, so I don't think it's going to be enough here. Coffee plummeting supply down to 90 at this point.
Yeah, absolutely everything needs to be used fighting this army at this moment in time. SCVs, units, Widow Mines, everything needs to come off the line and try to hold this. But GG, well played is called, and Harstem takes a clean 2-0, advancing on to the decider match here in this group.
Yeah, there we go.
Awesome.
And man, very happy with this.
Yeah, gotta love it, gotta love it. And well, gotta say, Coffee not too happy with that result here.
Yeah, I mean, Coffee, this is his first Premier Tournament. We've talked about this before. It doesn't feel good to go down like that in your first Premier Tournament, but